Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I want to do a proper intro, but essentially today's video I'm going to be doing my makeup. I'm going to try and be really quick because the sun is going to go down in a bit, but I'm going to quickly do my eye makeup, not going anywhere. So I'm just trying to experiment with color and talk about how literally my 2023 went, dog. Like, it was a long year, but we made it through. So let's get into it. I've been wanting to try purple on my eyes for a while now, so I think that's what I'm gonna do. Because what's the harm if I'm not really going anywhere? You get me? I haven't done my makeup in so long. Yesterday was the first day I did my makeup and it turned out questionable, to be honest. But we push and we move, Sanadam. Anyway, so about 2023, baby. Like, welcome to 2024, first of all. Compliments. And I'm having a mimosa. Oh my god, there's literally a bag. Ew. If I think about too much, I'm literally going to vomit. So I'm not gonna think about it at all. I really like this illuminator. Last year sometime I asked, when I was trying to really be serious about YouTube, what people want to see, and people said like makeup tutorials, and I was like, girl, I had know nothing. I don't think I can teach you guys. I can just tell you my favorite products and then you'll see. This is the LA Girl Luminous Glow Skin Illuminator. My friend put me onto that and it's bomb as hell. Because it gives you like that natural highlight underneath without you actually having to highlight. And I like to put that on while I do my eyes. I usually do my eyes after my under eye concealer actually. But we'll switch it up today. Anyway guys, like there's no real formula to this video. I'm just gonna be speaking my mind, literally. Yeah, I feel like 2023 was relatively like a good year. It was okay. It wasn't exceptional, it wasn't terrible. I saw a tweet that said like 2023 was more a year that kind of like had the highs were really high and the lows were really low, you know, in a sense. And I think that is the best way to describe it. Like, I don't think the lows were that low, thank God, but I had a terrible year prior in 2024, you get me? So I had prayed to God to say like, hey dude, come on, like I need to have a better year, because otherwise JK, not really. But I had such a terrible year in 2022 that I forced myself to really, by the end of 2022 going into 2023, to really kind of like pace myself and be positive and look forward to kind of like doing better and having a better year, you know. And I feel like because I was so desperate to have a good year for the majority of the first few months of 2023, I went into it literally with so much positivity to a point where I really feel like it became toxic positivity. Yes, I was still positive, but I don't think I was desensitized a bit from my feelings and I wasn't letting myself really feel any negative emotions. Like when I got out of depression, I was so scared to get to the point where I was severely depressed again. I would avoid my feelings, and that's not very healthy, right? Anyway, yeah, so the first few months were pretty chill. Like for me, I feel like I always have a good first half of the year because my birthday is really early, so that's always something to look forward to. And then had my birthday, didn't really do anything hectic for my birthday last year, which is fine. I still had a good time regardless. And like I said, because I was just praying to God to not have the year that I had last year and to avoid any disappointment, I didn't really put a lot of effort into planning for my birthday, you get me? So I ended up just going out for dinner, and then at some point me and my friends went out, and that was basically it, you know. There was no real intention behind it. and I don't like that. I had a good time, but yeah, it's time to get back to being intentional about every single facet of your life. So yeah, for the most part, it was good. I think themes that ran very loud last year for me were definitely friendship, were definitely intuition, really kind of learning myself a lot more and getting a lot clearer on what I want, who I am, what I wanna, what I value, what is my belief system. Last year was a lot of groundwork, especially towards the end of the year. I was like, you know what? I feel this very like stagnant energy currently in my life. And I felt like at the time I didn't know what to do in order to move, and at some point of the year it did consume me, and I had to realize that all I can do is keep moving and trying to change certain things. And I feel like, you know, when you are gradually changing, right? When you start gradually changing and kind of like leaning more into who you want to be, you still feel like you're in the middle, and it's a very uncomfortable position to be in. You still feel like you are grappling like between like ICU creepy, like you haven't found your footing. And I feel like the last 6 months of 2023, that's how I felt, and it was very intense. And I would just try and distract myself all the time, as opposed to sitting with my feelings, working through them, and getting to the other side properly and comfortably. You get me? It's more something that I kind of did toward the end of the year, you know? And I had to learn very harsh lessons last year. I had to come to terms with a lot of different things. And I had to really grow up a lot last year. Oh my god, I had really big feelings last year. My god. Like, I'm gonna blend it out with a different color name, but it will defeat the purpose of what I'm trying to do. I had really big feelings last year. I had to grow up a lot more. I had to step up in terms of my family system and like really become an adult. I feel like I have an older sister, and I feel like for the most part, having an older sister has allowed me the option or the ability to kind of like hide sometimes from real life or what's going on in my family and stuff like that, right? And last year I had to get it together. I had to get my together and kind of be the person who now is doing that one for my sister and for the people in my family, you know, because there's no person who wants to constantly be the only one who is essentially, I don't like how this blends out. Nobody wants to be the one who carries everything on by themselves, you know. And going into 2023 last year, I was very intentional about trying to create softness and lean into softness within the relationships in my life, especially my friends and family, you know. So yeah, I tried. It wasn't always consistent, but I really feel like I did try a bit more. And this year will be an opportunity to lean into that a lot more. You get me? So yeah, what was I saying? I had to really grow up last year. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. I've always felt like I'm very ahead of my years because of things that I've been through, the people that I've hung around for the most part of when I was younger, my teens, early 20s. I hung around with a lot of older people because like my sister's older than me, and me and my sister have quite a close relationship, and I was exposed to a lot of her friends and people around her circle and stuff like that, right? And even just in general in other facets of my life, right? And I feel like that kind of cultivated or kind of led me to growing up a lot quicker, and the things that I've been through growing up a lot quicker, right? And last year I feel like 2021, 2022 was the phase of my life where I was fighting with trying to lean into actually being my age and actually not thinking about everything else and just being a babe in like her early 20s, whatever type vibe, right? And last year brought me back to reality to say, yes, some parts of my life I can kind of like be a bit more lenient, a bit more like allowing to myself to have fun and remember that, okay, I'm only a certain age and I'm not like 35, 40 sometimes, right? And it was a big struggle, but I feel like I figured it out, and I feel like I'm comfortable with being a little bit more responsible for my age, if that makes sense. So yeah, there was a lot of that. It was tough, man. It was tough to lean into that. It was tough to see people that I care about not being great or grand. It was tough to choose myself sometimes. It was tough to establish boundaries, and also boundaries was a big thing for me last year. Like, I struggle with boundaries. If you know me, you should know that. But last year, I remember my best friend saying to me, like, you need to stop being so fucking nice. Like, if somebody is playing in your face, Katela, you get me? So that's something that I'm still working on. I feel like towards the end of the year, I got a lot better at, but it's definitely something that I'm still working on. So yeah, it's been a trip, man. And if you feel like this video is all over the place, it probably is. I'm sorry. Last year, man, was just self-discovery, properly, like heavy, very, very heavy. I cried a lot, I laughed a lot, I had a lot of good experiences. But what I didn't like about last year, ne? I didn't have a lot of new experiences. I was so like kind of enamored in my where I was at and my thoughts and my feelings and all of that. I didn't really allow myself to have new experiences, and I didn't really intentionally plan new experiences for myself. So that's gotta go, because I've come to realize that I'm also somebody who needs to constantly be stimulated by new experiences and doing new things. If I don't, diafa inside, like I feel very stagnant and I feel very stuck. So I need to continuously make new experiences or create new experiences for myself. You get me? So yeah. And I think another lesson that I learned last year and I'm taking into the new year is to say no. To literally say no, like no boss, like period. No, I can't. I don't like how this thing shades out, man. So yeah, that's definitely something that I'm taking to the new year, to say no a lot more, practice that muscle, and also to speak up for myself a lot more. I used to be so like, I'm still very stubborn, but bro, I used to like be somebody who is very, what's the word, headstrong. And I feel like over the years I've kind of lost that in trying to be softer and cultivate softer friendships and connections or whatever. I need to bring that girl back, because it ain't cutting it. Nicki Minaj is who you ain't. Oh wait. It's not cutting it. Like, I need to go back to being strict, go back to being headstrong, and not dance around that. You get, like, honestly, last year, a lot of situations that I found myself in, especially in terms of friendships, I shouldn't have never found myself in those positions. It was a matter of not being firm and not actually standing up for myself. You get me? And I lost friendships last year, man, and it's sad because some of them were really valuable friendships in my life. But also, like, there's just a lot that happened. You get me? And that also taught me quite a lot about myself and how I want to be loved, how I want to love, how I want to be validated. Obviously, how to love somebody else, also you need to take into account somebody else's feelings, right? But it really taught me a lot about myself in terms of friendships, like and it changed. A lot of my friendship dynamics changed, and yeah, just a very weird situation. And last year I kind of like really discovered that it's very easy for me to be overstimulated. Like, surrounding myself with people all the time is not something that can It's not feasible for me. It doesn't work. Like, I just need to cut that shit out because it does not work. So I've been trying to really be intentional about that this year and really make sure that I don't lean into being distracted to run away from my feelings or run away with my problems. Like this year, I'm normalizing being bored. Literally, being bored and sitting my ass at home. Ke avoid mathata. Not every day. Like today, I've been trying to record this video for a long time and I almost convinced myself out of doing it, saying like it's gonna be too late or whatever. But I've decided, let's go. I don't really know how I do my concealer anymore, to be quite honest, guys. Anyway, so yeah, I'm normalizing being bored this year. Like, if I'm sitting at home and I say I can't come to something, don't think I'm having a good old time. I'm probably bored at my house watching series. So guys, the video cut and I was busy talking about how I'll probably lower the volume in a bit. Let me just quickly blend out my blush and foundation. Baby, can you take me? By the way, I use lipstick as cream blush. Yeah, I added a lot today. And you know what? I really want to find new avenues of therapy, like things that kind of like ground me and make me feel good. That's the intention this year. Do you know, if I had to choose a song, it would be Familiar by Madison Ryan Ward. I think that's how you say her name. Yeah, that's the vibe. Like, Lord of Father, pray that I don't go back to thing. I can't to know, can't keep going back to that I used to, just for the sake of knowing that. And you know what? It's a trauma response. It is a trauma response, darling. Like, to constantly want to do the same thing that you've done all the time just because you're so afraid of change. It's because you want to create a false sense of control and a false sense of, like, you know what's going on, you can predict it. And that's toxic. So if you do that, stop it. Stop it right now. My foundation, like, it keeps doing this. Like, my God. I need to get a toothpick. So don't do that. Like, this year we're embracing change, okay? I literally got this tatted on me to remind myself, don't be so afraid of change, because good things always come on the other side of insane change. You get me? So yeah, before I got cut off, I was talking about how last year I also realized I'm really sensitive, and I got back to being super sensitive. I cry about everything now, like every single thing. Yonke into a movie, a bad day, flat tire, whatever, I be wanting to cry, good and bad. Even when, like, I feel really good or feel really grateful for my friends, family, whatever, I be crying, bro. Like, I be crying. So I've realized that I also need to be really selective about the people that I have in my life, because people who aren't understanding of how sensitive I am grind my tits, essentially. So it's something that I really need to be, because otherwise it creates a lot of resentment and unhappiness in my life. If I can be considerate of how I speak to you and how I do things with you, I expect exactly the same. Otherwise, get out. You get me? Like, honestly. Not every day is sha sha sha. Guys, oh, okay. Thanks, Taji. You know? Yeah. And last year I also kind of like really got back into prayer and spirituality, especially towards the end of the year. Like, I became really the desire to know God and to trust God and to really have a relationship with God became stronger last year, and I'm glad, because that's what I want the basis, or like the foundation of my life to be. Like, now we are at the age where I am at the age where I really want to have a really strong core and kind of like really know what I'm doing value wise, what I believe in, what I don't like, what I really won't stand for, all of that. You get me? That's the most integral part of your 20s, I feel like. And that is one thing I know for sure is really, really important to me. So I'm building back on that this year. What was I also saying? Yeah, I was saying that I'm trying to find new ways to really like show up for myself, to cultivate self-trust, discipline, all of that. You get? I don't really kind of like blend the foundation all the way onto the blush that I put like just at the bottom. And then when I blend out my concealer, I'm going to blend out my concealer and then blend it out with the blush as well. I don't know, I just feel like it makes me look a little bit more natural and pretty. Makes it look a little bit more girly. And yesterday I was thinking about the fact that like I used to be such a tomboy, like the biggest tomboy on the planet. Like I would ride bikes, I would not even wear dresses, like I'd just play with boys. My best friend growing up was a boy for like a solid 12 years. Even at home they knew like I'm wait. My dad would say, "Hey, boyfriend, how should you look?" Good times, really. But I used to be the biggest tomboy, and the fact that now I can do my makeup, I wear dresses, and I prefer to wear dresses now, it's just like reflective of how important it is to enjoy every phase of your life completely and really commit to the cause while you're there. And then as life progresses and as you evolve, roll with the punches, my boy, you get me? Perfect. So roll with the punches, get like move through each and every phase with your life proper. Lately, like last year I picked up a lot of weight, right? People think that I'm being dramatic, but for me it's not dramatic, because obviously I know what my body looks like naked, right? And with that being said, I feel like, guys, my edges aren't done and I'm not going anywhere, so I'm really not gonna do that. My hair looks crazy right now. But last year I picked up a lot of weight, and it made me very, for the most part I wasn't really uncomfortable because I still worked out and I would go to gym. Last year consistency was the death of me. Like I need to do better on that, because even when I got into the last few months of 2023, when I got into the habit of having a routine and stuff like that, what was killing me was consistency, committing to myself and building self-trust. That's the most important thing. Like if there's anything that you do this year, I feel like let it be self-trust. Keep the promises that you make to yourself first and foremost, and then everybody else can follow after that. Top tier. Anyway, so I gained a bit of weight. Like I put on quite a bit of weight. I think I gained like, I'm pretty sure like a solid 5 point something 6. Like I'm really heavy now, but it also makes sense because I'm weight training and stuff, so that kind of like contributes to it. But it started making me very uncomfortable. I felt heavy, my clothes are tight, and if you know anything about me, you know that I love to wear shorts, right? I always am in shorts, and I kind of started like moving away from that. I still wear shorts, but they're so tight and so uncomfortable that I don't really go out of my way to wear it. Now I'm just in a dress 24/7 most of the time. I still wear shorts, I just still do. Somebody told me the other day that they've never seen me in a dress. I'm always in shorts. I was saying trust each phase of your life and commit to the cause while you're in it, so that when you evolve, it's not something that you half-lived. That's the lesson that I'm learning. And I feel like as I'm trying to figure out what life is about and what we called on this here earth to do, very dramatic, but is to really balance. I don't think perfection is the thing. I don't think you lean more into purpose over the other. I feel like what life is really about is balance between yourself, between your family, between your work life, your personal life, between your goals, your passions. It's all about balance, like finding a good mix of what works for you individually and not also taking on what people project onto you or what people say to you. And that's a very big thing that I also kind of like got back to understanding about myself. I've always had a very strong opinion. I've always been very self-rooted, very, yeah, I feel like rooted in who I am is the correct word. And over the past few years, I feel like that thing has kind of dwindled. And last year, I leaned back into understanding and trusting my voice completely again, without the need to consult about every single decision, without the need to, you know, to really follow my intuition and to follow what I want to do. Because let me tell you something about myself. If I make a decision for myself, and it doesn't pan out the way that I thought it would pan out, let me tell you, I have no regrets. Like, I tried something and didn't work out. Boo-hoo, sad story. Black American, that story. But I'm somebody who, like, once I make, if I say between left or right, and I say right, and under left, 100K, come right, they get 500. And as much as I'm gonna be disappointed that I didn't get the 100K, I'm gonna be like, you know what, I followed what I wanted to do and it's fine, point blank, period. But whenever I consult, and I feel like God has been trying to bring me back to this thing for a very long time. Whenever I consult, whenever I ask for advice, whenever I this, Pepe is a little bit too much. Let me tell you what happens. Like, it does not pan out, and I always feel a deep sense of regret because I should have gone with my gut as opposed to involving other people. So I'm leaning a lot more back into that this year. I need to, for my sake. If the lighting changed, as kissing, what can I do? So yeah, guys, as I finish off, I don't know, my final words for this video, honestly, is that trust yourself more. That's a message from you to me as well, that I should trust myself more. I know what I'm doing. And even when I don't, it's fine, because this is my first time on planet Earth. Like, give yourself grace. I think that's one thing I did absolutely correct last year. I give myself grace, guys. Like, I don't even need somebody else to forgive me in this life, because I give myself grace. And if I apologize for something, I apologize about it wholeheartedly. Because let me tell you, change and shame cannot coexist. Shame and improvement cannot coexist. Shame and any other positive thing that you want to bring into your life cannot coexist. You need to make a decision to understand, are you going to shame yourself for something consistently that you didn't know better or you failed to do, and you're going to beat yourself up about it multiple times every single day of your life? Are you going to keep yourself paralyzed because of shame? You need to make a decision. Like, if you want to do better, you need to want better for yourself, and you need to really want to release it and move on. You make a mistake, you're human. This is your first time here. You know, that concept, and it created from parents who say, you know what, like, you can't say you're a bad parent if this is your first time being a parent. Like, who did you get? The first time you do something, you're a novice. How are you gonna know? You get me? So, if there's anything that you learned from me, may it be to give yourself grace, Sana. Because outside of that, I was waiting in bad. I was waiting for real. Like, outside of that, what are you saying? What are you doing? Go on. So yeah, that is an important thing. And that's one thing I did right last year, my boy. Like, nobody can even touch me when it comes to that. I need to find my contour thing. As I blended out everything else, I don't have setting spray, so my makeup looks really bright. And I also don't have mascara. I don't know where my mascara is. I suspect. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe. And my closing words is like, I don't know, man. Everything is like a stepping stone for you to go onto the new level. So don't be so, it's probably noisy because People are downstairs. But my last few cents is, let 2024, well, for me personally, 2024 is a year of me versus me above all else. I'm really just leaning more into what I want, what I need, what I want my life to look like, and building on the foundation that I've created for myself so far until now. And I hope that you do the same. I hope you honor yourself, give yourself grace, and allow yourself to become. Like, resistance is the quickest way to slow down what your life should look like, because you're so afraid of going into different directions or creating change or leaning into change, what you really need. Don't be so stuck on the version of yourself that everybody liked or enjoyed or whatever, and be so attached and stuck to that. You get me? Like, keep moving, roll with the punches, Sanalam. And yeah, and like, honestly, I'm just proud of myself. Deadass. Like, for me also this year, it's just showing myself how much more I can love myself. Like, investing in myself, showing myself a lot more love. Like, I want to be at a level of self-trust and self-love by the end of the year where people are just like, no, she would not do that. God, just because by virtue of when you're around me, you can see how much I love myself. And I love people like that because their auras are always so big and pure, and I love that. You get me? So that for me is my main mission, is to build my self-trust, build my discipline, create a life for myself that I really enjoy, and love myself completely and thoroughly through. You get me? Like, I want to, the type of self-love and discipline or whatever that I want to attain. And like, people are like, hey, well, yeah. It's called self-discipline. You should try it sometimes. No, I'm joking, but yeah, you get my gist, right? So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful 2024, and I hope you let yourself live, dog. Like, life is too short. Life is for the living. That's the best saying to ever come into the world. Like, life is for the living. Don't forget, while you're pushing the things that you really want to attain, to also let yourself live within where you are, where you're trying to move from. Because you can't shame yourself out of where you are. You can't hate yourself out of where you are. You really just need to give yourself love, grace, and acceptance. So that's it from me. Like, subscribe, comment, share a screenshot, share a video, share a clip on your stories or whatever, so that people can kind of like, you know, come back to my video or come to my channel. And if you feel like I'm doing too much this year, just know it's because we're chasing self-love. Like, if you feel like, oh my god, she's so arrogant now, I'm not arrogant, I just love myself. Okay, come back to this video. If you feel like I'm too much, come back to this video. If I feel like I'm doing a lot, come back to this video. You get the gist. Yeah, bye guys.